Welcome to the Get It Done podcast, where you'll find me, Bradley Simmons, weight loss and fitness expert, chatting to other experts on why health is the key to success. If you haven't heard of our 5 pillars that get it done, they are mental, physical, emotional, social, and financial health. This podcast is going to help you build your 5 pillars, and therefore is going to build your success and, most importantly, your happiness. Let's get it done. Richard, welcome to the Get It Done podcast. It's brilliant to have you on the podcast. Quickly, before we start having our conversation about health, everything health, tell us a bit about your background, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so originally from Kent. I'm actually only recently moved to London in the past, just gone 12 months, so new to the London fitness scene. Background of professional sports, so I come from a professional rugby league background, played from academy level from the age of 13, signed my first pro contract at 16, unfortunately had to retire at 21, and that's kind of what led me into the coaching and sort of the fitness space.
Yeah. Very similar background to me.
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah, very similar. So I stopped playing football at the age of 20 because of injuries.
Yeah.
So I was playing pro football. I was at Chelsea, Queen's Park Rangers, then went over to Iceland. Things didn't work out, transitioned easily into the fitness game.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly the same here.
And how was that? Obviously, how did you struggle with your mental health with your career ending?
It was strange. So at the beginning, I came to terms with it really quickly. So it was head injuries for me. So I took a lot of head knocks when I was younger. My final season playing, I took like into double digits.
Double digits?
Yeah. Wow. And saw a lot of specialists, and there was a lot of sort of advice given to me that kind of pushed me into that sort of line of early retirement. At the time, I was in sort of like a halfway into a long-term relationship, so I kind of had a real good support group around me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I kind of just took it in my stride, looked at it as a chance to move back and be closer to family, because I've been living up north in Warrington for 4 years away from family. And at the time, I think I just kind of pushed it to one side. Then kind of went straight back into just sort of working in the real world, mm-hmm. so they say, sort of behind a computer, sort of logistics, and went into like transport logistics.
Okay, completely different to
blagged
sports.
My way into it.
Yeah.
Like lied on my CV, told them I had way more experience than I did, and just kind of went in at sort of like a level I shouldn't have been at. And I reckon I was there for about just over a year. And it wasn't until I saw a picture of myself on holiday with my family, I kind of looked, I was like, who's this guy? Like,
yeah. Didn't recognise him.
Yeah. Didn't recognise him at all. And
in what sense? Did you gain a lot of weight, or did you see the confidence in the photo?
I kind of, as you know, as a professional athlete, you kind of, although you're conscious about your diet, mm-hmm. you're so active, and at that age you can just burn through so much. Like, I was having to force myself to eat whilst I was playing. And when I left, I was like, oh great, I've not got a fitness coach that's on me to train every day. I've not got a conditioning coach that's telling me to do this. So I kind of just let fitness take a back burner, but carried on eating
because you have a tight
like
stage,
an athlete, right? Yeah. And just kind of like gradually ballooned. And to a lot of people, they would think like, oh, that's like, you didn't look bad. But like, again, as people that hold our standards quite high, mm-hmm. I looked at the picture and I was like, what is it? And again, also on the other side, I was working a job that I hated. So I just kind of looked at this as like a figure of, no, that's someone I don't want to
And it's crazy. Sometimes it's just a photo. Like with my online clients, I'm sure you're the same. When they upload their before photos, they go, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest wake up they have. It actually spurs them on.
Exactly that. And that was exactly it. And it was like that day that I was like, I need to make a change. So started sort of like trying to get back into the gym, and wasn't really enjoying it. Couldn't find like my direction of where I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. So I signed up to a martial arts gym back down where I was from originally, just outside Maidstone.
Yeah. And
just sort of fell in love with learning a new craft again, and just kind of got into that, and that was kind of it then.
You still do martial arts now?
Not really as much anymore. So again, I was getting to a point with it where I think I was about 3.5 years in, and it was kind of that, right, am I going to compete? No, I've got too many head injuries. So now it's actually quite difficult to like keep training, because I've got nothing where I can be like, all right, now I want to put myself into it. So naturally, I kind of took a step back, and that's kind of then what led me into the functional fitness space.
Because I guess with martial arts, do you have to compete to get those belts?
Yeah, you do. You have to, like, in different sort of disciplines as well. So it depends what route you want to go down. So like jiu-jitsu and stuff, in terms of where I was at with head injuries, would have been relatively safe. But I really like the striking side of the martial arts, like the kickboxing, the boxing,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
with that comes getting
Yeah,
kicked
yeah,
or
yeah,
punched
yeah,
in the
yeah,
face.
of
And
course.
I was like, I can't warrant putting myself in that position. So I kind of just took a natural step back from the sport. But that was what gave me that sort of drive to learn a new craft and be around people and just be almost like a school kid again, just learning and being a sponge and soaking it up.
Going back to your head injury, so what did the doctor say to you? He said, if you have any more concussions, you are likely to go down what road?
Yeah, so it was actually quite intense when I first got it. I was very much, when I was getting concussed, I lied about it a lot. So like where I was playing, you get concussed, you have to have a certain amount of weeks out, you can't play. So I was like,
No chance.
I'd get concussed in a game and like lie to the physio or like get concussed at training. And I think that's what spiraled. So then it got to a point where I had quite a few back-to-back sort of like out cold concussions. Saw a neurologist who specialised with boxers, and he basically he showed me 2 brain scans, one of a healthy brain and one of a sort of like a brain that was, I think it was like a 70-year-old suffering with dementia.
Okay, wow.
And showed me my brain scan, and I was way closer to the other side. There was quite a lot of like grey dots.
Yeah.
I had a potential bleed on the brain at one point, and he kind of just said, look, if you don't stop, if you keep taking sort of trauma to the head, like it can lead to these early onset sort of issues down the road. So,
And do you have any issues now? Do you have headaches? Do you suffer with any brain fog?
no. So I mean, things like that, like some brain fog, maybe some like general, just sort of like zoning out and like clarity stuff. But I don't know whether I've never had any tests.
Yeah.
With other stuff like things like ADHD and stuff either. So I've kind of always just like, that's part of me. I've really learned to work with it a lot, like with my day-to-day life. But yeah, in terms of the injury and the trauma itself, the doctor was basically like, look, if you don't stop, if you don't protect your head, like.
But that must be so hard, because your dream, and I'm sure you was a good player, so your dream was to reach the top.
Oh, for sure.
And telling you can't do it because of the head injury, not because you're not good enough.
Yeah, for sure. And that was what every teacher at school would say to me as well. Like, Rich, you need to have your studies as a backup. Because what if you get injured and you don't make it as a pro? And I was like,
of course.
It'll never happen.
Exactly.
It's never going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen to people. And it does. And like, it wasn't a sport that I would have been in that is like sets you up for life. But like, that's exactly where I visioned myself being for at least the early part of my adulthood was a professional athlete. And sort of when that didn't happen, it was like I said, I was like, yeah, I'll get on with my life. But actually, when I look back at that, the first 18 months was probably dealt with it really wrong.
Yeah. I remember when I had to fracture my ankle, and I realised, okay, after my ACL and then fracture my ankle, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to reach to the top.
No.
And I could play in the lower leagues, the Conference South and the Ryman Prems, but that's just not enjoyable.
No.
And you're not going to earn enough amount of money either. It's not going to be life changing.
No.
So for me, I just went, do you know what, transitioned to the personal trainer and absolutely worked my nuts off. And I just channeled my disappointment, frustration into something else.
Yeah.
And just set myself a goal. So when you first got your qualification, what did you set yourself? I need to get to London.
No, so I actually, when I signed my contract with the club at the time, they actually put people through courses what they wanted to do. So we're quite good at being like, as an academy athlete, they'd be like, right, we want you to go through different courses. So some of the guys went through like carpentry or plumbing, and I was like, I want to go through sports. So I'd done sports science and personal training when I was like 18, going through the academy system. So I kind of had it all whilst I was still playing and done bits and was put it through different courses. So as soon as I left, I still had that in my back pocket. Like I said, I didn't go straight into that because I was like almost like reluctant to be like, oh no, I want to be an athlete. I don't want to be the coach. I want to be the athlete. Like, I'm 21 years old. And then it took me some time to realize, actually, no, this isn't quite what it looks. Not a coaching role. This is like what I'm passionate about. This is my livelihood. This is my hobby. So I just turned that passion into like then helping and trying to inspire others.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that just came really naturally. Like, I was just doing my own thing, and then people coming up like talking to you about it, asking for help, this and that. And then I was like, okay, fine, let me try and grow this into a business. And actually, like, yeah, it went really well to begin with, up until obviously dreaded lockdown.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I think
COVID was a strange period. You either did really well in the fitness industry or you struggled.
Yeah, exactly that. And I handed in my notice at the job I was working. Worked a 3 months notice period, and over that 3 months, I was like, right, I'm going to use this 3 months to build up my client base even more, so that by the time I've left, I can take this over full time. 2.5 months into that notice, no, sorry, 3.5 months after I handed it in, 2 weeks into being self-employed, that's when we went into lockdown. So it's kind of like, where do we go from here? So it was a difficult time, but I was like, look, at the end of the day.
And how old are you then?
So
how old are you now?
I'm 28. So
28, yeah.
What was it, 2019?
Yeah,
COVID-19,
2019, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I must have been 22, 23 going into lockdown. Lose some good years of your life during that.
Big time.
But yeah, I was just, so I went the typical route that a lot of PTs did, downloaded Zoom, got in front of the camera, in front of everyone, and all my clients had every morning, just sort of, anyone that wasn't one-to-one and wanted that sort of like group fitness, got them all on. At one point, I think I had like 70 odd people on a call at once in my back garden in the sun.
And were they paying?
They were paying in a monthly, like a monthly payment. It wasn't a lot, but they wanted to still be coached over the lockdown. I had that facility to coach them, so I was like, right, let's do this. Had a few one-to-one clients as well, which is very difficult, I think, if you're sort of, I know you've done a lot, haven't you, like sort of videos working out with people, sort of like and instructional videos.
Yeah, so during lockdown, I was literally doing 2 workouts a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and I absolutely killed myself. It's awesome myself.
Yeah, but people love it, right?
But they loved it.
People
loved
it, and that's kind of where I went. I was like, okay, right, let me utilize this. And then from there, over lockdown, sort of had that time to realize, okay, this isn't quite sustainable. Like you said, like you're killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I make this a more sustainable thing? And then I started to go make workout videos, workout diary logs, build programs and stuff like that. And that's kind of then how I developed into an online coach, was through lockdown and kind of having no other option.
And did your following start growing during lockdown, or has that only been fairly recent?
No, it was fairly recent. So it was back in 2022, I think.
Because it's quite tough to build 70 clients without a large following on Instagram. That's quite impressive.
So with that, I had quite a lot of in-person clients from where I've been at the gym and built that sort of, which is a big thing, I think, when it comes to online coaching and like earning your stripes, right? I'm a big believer of earning your stripes on the gym floor.
The amount of PTs are going straight into online coaching.
And now, especially now.
And I feel like if you do that, you're going to struggle to adapt your philosophy or your coaching with different clientele. Because some clients need a certain program, some clients need a different program.
100%.
And if you had worked hours on that gym floor, how do you have that experience?
Just learning things like coaching cues, like empathy for different things and different movement pattern. I think so easy now to go online, get a qualification and go out there and say this. So I'm a big believer of earning your stripes. And I think that's what kind of put me in the lucky position that I was when I went into lockdown. I had a lot of clients already that were like, I still want to train, like, can you help me throughout this? So carried a lot of them over who then would like say to their friends and stuff like, oh, look, it's going to cost you like a $5 a week. Pay it, jump on.
Yeah, word of mouth is powerful.
Do these classes. And then people loved it. 20 to 30-minute hit sessions and getting people moving. And obviously physical benefits, mental benefits, even just boredom getting on. And people would stay online for 15 minutes afterwards and just chat on Zoom.
Yeah, like, you're building that community.
Exactly that. So when I came away from it, it was like I was still not in a position on social media. Social media wasn't really much of a tool for me at all through lockdown. I'm pretty sure it was 2022 at Turf Games. There was one video that was taken there, and that I put that out on TikTok and Instagram, and it
just blew up. Sometimes it's just one video, doesn't it?
It was the stupidest video as well.
Did you know that 1 in 5 have a gym membership but don't actually go? If you're listening and that sounds all too familiar, I have the solution. Get It Done, my wellness app, provides you with a choice between personalized gym guides, goal-specific guides, and hundreds of home workouts. You'll also get exclusive access to our community events and retreats. So whether it's time to cancel your gym membership and work out at home, or bring some structure and success to your gym schedule, the GID app can do just that for £18.99 a month. Not only that, we provide recipes and nutritional guidance so you can partner your workout regime with the right meal plans for optimal results. Life's too short to pay for a gym membership you're not using. It's time to get it done. This is the thing. Sometimes it's the stupid content that does well and it's frustrating.
Yeah, mate. Like I had posted consistently, daily, of my workouts, like every single day.
And looking slick. Yeah. You've edited well.
Exactly. For probably 8 months to a year.
Yeah.
Every single day. I maybe got up to about 3,500, 4,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I remember it because I was at Turf Games. I said to my mate, I was like, by the end of this, I want to hit 5,000. I want to hit 5K by the end of Turf Games. I'm just going to go out and just go talk to people, go talk to different people in the scene, just get in amongst it. And yeah, the stupidest thing, this video was like, all it was is after workout, I was like walking towards my mate, realised he was filming me and laughed at him.
That was it.
Posted that.
Did you have your top off?
I had my
That always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, like
it's crazy,
put it
isn't
on
it?
TikTok, it hit like 3 million views.
Wow.
And like I was like, wait, what?
It can be that simple.
But then after that, then people sort of bought into, okay, this guy trained, and then it was kind of working back off. And as you know, with social media, once you hit an algorithm, once you get on it, as long as you ride it,
once you're consistent with it,
yeah. And I realised I actually like post that video again and again and again, and just use it with different.
Yeah, sometimes
concepts.
I've recycled the content that's done really well last year. So I got a reel that had 12 million views. So I'll recycle that once a year.
Yeah.
And it helps you build a new audience.
Exactly that.
But it doesn't always mean that audience is going to buy into you. Sometimes they become ghost followers straight away. So you have to build that community, which is key.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I've seen as well is like the difference between now and when I started, like I said, I had those 2,500, 3,000 followers. Like I don't see a massive difference in terms of like actual traction.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, but some people see you as maybe like unobtainable, unreachable, like maybe this like they're going to talk to you and it's not even you talking, whatever that is. But like when I had that like real organic, close knit group of followers who were all, it made no difference. And like I said, everything I was doing was coming from word of mouth, like people I knew. Don't get me wrong, it's great now for reach and marketing and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you get some brand deals, that type of thing.
Exactly. But again, we're in an era now where who's not doing social media, right?
If you're not doing social media, you need to start.
Yeah, we're just another one. And
like you said, your 4,000 followers hasn't made much difference compared to what you're nearly 300,000 now.
So I think across both like Instagram and TikTok, I'm about 500,000.
Brilliant.
So
and you said there's not much difference. In terms of,
in
so
terms
just
of
goes to show, if you only got 500 followers, focus on hitting 5,000 like you did.
100%.
And that's just consistency.
And just having that like that engagement and directing that to your audience. Like I've learned sort of what my audience is now and still working, and that's where sort of the projection of where I want to go is working around that audience. But like half of these people that follow me aren't following me for coaching, aren't following that. It's
a lot of my followers just want to see who my next girlfriend is.
They're just interested.
They're just interested. They want to see your lifestyle.
Exactly that. So really trying to like knuckle down with that.
And have you got an app, or is it just online coaching?
No, at the minute I'm just online coaching, so just through a platform that I use. Currently building sort of not an app. That's something I want to look at later stages.
I can definitely help you with that.
3 to 5 more standardized programs now. Just to kind of then build this community and branch out, because again, as you know, coaching takes a lot of time. It's a craft. Like we learn that, and to give someone that what they deserve in terms of coaching, you need time and you need to have those facilities. So there's only so many clients you can have. But I also don't want to restrict myself or restrict other people that want to get.
No, of course. Like I've thought about bringing some good coaches on working for me now, because sometimes I'm like, I need to clone myself 3 times over for me to give the quality I want to give whilst I'm traveling, whilst I'm doing other things.
Exactly.
I've spent many hours on the laptop, 10, 12 hours sometimes. I'm like, God, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm not actually looking after my health.
And
I'm meant to be the coach. So sometimes I think I need to expand now. I need to bring some really good coaches on board so I can actually hit a bigger audience. I'm not sure what your strategy is when it comes to your business. Yeah,
so it's just growing that one, accessibility. So again, coaching costs a lot. Like coaching's not cheap.
Coaching's not cheap, but it's worth the investment.
100%.
Every client that's invested in my online coaching said priceless.
100%. I've never had someone that's signed up and done like their minimum 3-month term, and come away and gone, wasn't for me.
No, of course.
Like again, and that like you have to give that what they're getting, and give that substance as to why they're going to invest that money and why. Because some people it is a big investment, some people it's not.
Some people it's not, and they're with you for 12, 18 months.
Exactly.
And some are like, look, I'm struggling to pay for this month.
Exactly that, and that's why I have to be really clear with people about this is exactly what you're going to get with the coaching, etc. But I don't want to. again then limit that. I want to build it, because when I was a kid, I used to, well, I was 16, 17 when I was playing, I used to look at other athletes, other like top sports stars, like for instance, like Sonny Bill Williams. I'll go on Google and type in like Sonny Bill Williams breakfast, Sonny Bill Williams training plan, and I just would look at people and be like, that's how I want to train, that's how I want to be. So I want to kind of bring something a little bit more like that to it, where some coaches are great, they're very textbook coaches, they've got way more knowledge than I have, and can really direct that coaching side. I find my approach to coaching, and especially the marketing of that, is like, I want to try and be a bit of a role model for people. I want people to sort of look at what I'm doing and be like, yeah,
That's achievable.
I want to do that. Like, I want to work towards that, and that's where I want to go with the next part of what I'm doing, is that programming side and having that.
So who's your target audience? Is it males from the age of 20 to 35?
It's actually a good mixture of like male and female. At the minute, I'm probably about 50%.
Okay.
But yeah, people in my age demographic who just want to work hard, just get live a lifestyle.
Well, majority of them know what they need to be doing. I guess it's the accountability.
Exactly that, and that's a lot of people reach out to me and go, oh, I've been training for this long. I just want to do a bit of this. Again, I live quite a transparent lifestyle on my social media. I go out quite a lot. So
you show balance.
Yeah. So, and I get a lot of people like that, especially ex-rugby players who are like, love pints, but want to look good with their tops off.
Yeah.
And that's kind of now like what I'm nailing in on my demographic, is like, you can work hard, you can play hard, and they can both work perfectly. But here's how to do it. This is the balance that you need, and that's kind of where I'm at, and that's how I live my life. I want to kind of be the poster boy for that.
But a lot of people say, well, you was in great shape when you was playing rugby and you may be able to maintain it. So to certain clients, I always say, well, let's really focus on getting that physique first. Then you can have a bit of a maintenance lifestyle.
Absolutely. And that's the conversation I would have with certain people. And some people will come to me, and that would be the conversation where it goes, okay, maybe this is where you need to look at coaching and actually having me work one-to-one with yourself. Or, for instance, you get some guys who are like, good background of sports, in fairly decent nick, and they just want to tighten up. So that's where I'm trying to sort of push those directions. And again, kind of get people to understand like what really is your goal. Is it your lifestyle? Is it performance? Is it aesthetics? Because at some point there has to come sacrifice. Like I've said it before, I've been way leaner than I am now, but at the cost of being a really boring bloke.
And when I did front cover Men's Health, the diet I went on was crazy.
Yeah.
Just to get to 7% body fat.
Yeah.
And I'm around 10, 11. That's where I feel most healthiest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because on the weekend I was on a few Guinnesses. I was on
a
roast dinner. I was on. Do you know what I mean? I can enjoy myself and not worry about, okay, have to look a certain way. But of course, when I hit around 12, 13, 14%, I can notice it.
You feel fluffy.
I feel fluffy.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see it in my chin, and I look at photos. And then what I do is just go back to the basics. Calorie deficit, high protein, a few more runs, smash the gym.
Exactly that. And that's essentially what I'm trying to give that people the knowledge of, is like, it's learning where that stage is, and actually then trying to build your life around that. Because don't get me wrong, if someone comes to me and goes, my ultimate goal, all I want to do is hit 7% body fat, then of course we'll sit down and we'll do that. And I wouldn't push the lifestyle or what I'm pushing to the majority. I'll show them the ropes to get there. Someone goes, I'm just focusing on performance, and everything's obviously got a different direction. But in general, I find a lot of my clients or a lot of leads especially come through, and they're just people that are looking to work hard, and like I said, like enjoy their life, and they go on holiday, take their top off. No,
of course, 100%. Well, we at Get Done, we talk about the 5 pillars of health. Yeah. So the first pillar we talk about is physical health. Okay. Sure. And if you have good physical health, all the other pillars will come with it. Yeah. Then we talk about mental health. We talk about emotional health. We talk about social health, and we talk about financial health, which a lot of people don't want to discuss. Yeah. But if one of those is affected, then you're going to struggle. But for me, it starts with your physical health.
Absolutely.
If you look after your physical health, which means obviously training regularly, looking after your nutrition, your mental health will be positively impacted. Your emotional health will be positively impacted. Your social health, because you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And then your financially success will probably be impacted simply because you're confident. You're feeling good. You can think clearly. And that's something I say to my clients. Isn't always about your aesthetics. It's not always about looking good. It's about the other pillars that we can improve on.
100%.
So let's talk about physical health to begin with. Like, so many people want to look good, but they might do it in the wrong way, right?
For sure.
And we've seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
I find with my female clients, for example, they will massively restrict their calories. And then guys will over abuse steroids, as an example.
Yeah.
So you've got to find that balance. And I believe you and me come from a sporting background where it had to be clean.
Yeah.
And we was in great shape because we were just training so much.
Yeah. And you just love training, right?
Yeah.
And you're with your mates.
It's not a chore.
Yeah, you're with your mates. You wake up, you're like, all right, go see the boys, go train. Whether you're in the gym or on the field or doing some conditioning, whatever it was, it's just part of your lifestyle. And that again, maybe we had a bit of a head start in terms of our fitness journeys because of that, because it was almost ingrained into us.
Yeah,
like,
and people can argue the genetic side of things as well. Are we genetically blessed? Of course, that's a factor,
like,
but it's not the biggest factor.
No, but that's what we've just used as our advantage to push ourselves here. Like, regardless of like genetics, everyone's got the same opportunities to go and go and train and have that, reach out to whichever coach they want and have that guidance. And I think, don't get me wrong, having that sort of sporting background helps massively. But
I think it helps with your resilience. I think it helps with your character from a young age. Having to lose, having to deal with working hard to get better from a very young age makes it easier for us to go and smash a 60-minute high rock session.
Which is always almost like drilled out of people now.
Yeah.
And young kids.
Well, I always say to my friends, my clients, teach them young.
Yeah.
Get them as many sports as they can from a young age.
100%. And my family was never sporty. Ever.
Okay.
Like my parents didn't play sport.
Do they not?
No, my dad was in the army for 18 years.
So he had a bit about him then to be in the army.
Yeah,
he had to be physically fit to be in the army.
Yeah, mum was very much like very sedentary job.
Okay.
They were very, very working class background and never really had that like drive into anything. It wasn't until I went and watched my brother play a game of rugby when I was about 10 or 11, just because his mate asked him to play. And then I was there. One of the coaches from my age group said, "Do I want to play?" And picked it up instantly. Was like instantly pretty good, which is quite to some people quite an annoying, an annoying thing. I tend to pick things up pretty well, especially sports.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like I think my parents were like, "Oh, okay, he's good at sport.
Let's pursue it."
So I played rugby and ice hockey growing up.
Ice hockey, that's the niche. Ice hockey.
Really, really niche. Again, just went to watch a game once, and was like, I want to play.
Okay.
Went, put a pair of skates on, and
that's
was
crazy.
Was able to skate straight away.
Yeah.
And just kind of had that like knack of picking up sport. So that was just then my direction from there. And in my head, from a young age, I just loved sport. I loved being around my mates. I loved the competitive side. I loved the highs and lows of it. My dad, whether it was because I think again probably from his army days, was very much like this is how results affect. Like if you don't play well, you don't get the result, and would help me hold my standards a lot higher. My mum on the other side, like I could do everything wrong. She told me I had the best game I've ever played. Like so it's quite a nice balance of like a bit of an ego stroke from my mum, and then my dad kind of giving me a bit of a grounding, and that just made me want to be better. Like I'd get in the car after a game and already be looking forward to training and what I could work on, how I could get better. And I just built that sort of like love for it and that passion to always be like, I want to be at the top of my game at all times.
So people listening to it, I can relate. I did sports from a young age, and it's easy for me to go on a 10K run without thinking about it. Or it's easy for me to, I don't know, take up a new sport. What do you say to those that have never done sports growing up and they're only starting to, let's say, run now? They're only starting to hit in the gym, and they're concerned that their genetics are, do you know what I mean, killing their results? Yeah,
well, I mean, like people say, like, again, like the best time to start was when like you said, get them in young. Best time to start was when you're a kid. When the best time to start was 5 years ago or better. So, like, if you haven't done that, then the best time to start is now, because if you look back in 5 years, the best time was to start now. Like, it's just getting out and moving on. Like, I've done stuff, other sports or even like on business side where I'm really not clued up or savvy, and you just step out, you just put yourself out your comfort zone, and it's not about going, because we're in an era now where it's like, who's going to run 100 miles next? Who's going to do this?
I find it a bit frustrating.
And as much as it's inspiring for others, it's like, we get it. Like we get it now.
Yeah, I actually find it. Do you know everyone doing these crazy runs and stuff? It's like, is that your only way to grow your business, or the only way to grow your following?
Exactly
it's becoming a bit like
exactly that. And I'm very much like, it doesn't need to be that. No. It could be go out and
Join
grab
a run
paddle
club,
racket.
do a 5K run,
Get a
do paddle
racket.
with your friends.
Go and play some paddle.
Yeah,
Or
learning to do some resistance training and educate yourself. I think education is really key because if you're getting older and you're not taking good care of your physical health, you're going to age a lot quicker than others. Do you know what I mean? And
there's research as well, isn't there, proven like to resistance training especially, and the longevity of that, and
100%,
like muscular health over heart health and stuff like that. Obviously, we want to keep healthy and stay fit and keep our cardio systems high, but actually resistance training, being strong and actually being able to move our body and hold our body and
is so important.
Yeah, and
because as men get older, obviously testosterone levels drop. As women get older, estrogen levels drop.
Exactly.
So your bone density decreases, muscle mass decreases.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be far more frail and unable to do things that you want to do.
Exactly that.
Okay, which leads to all sorts of. It could lead to cardiovascular problems. It could lead to other health issues, and also just your confidence. And your low confidence that can affect you big time.
Yeah.
So resistance training is so key. So anyone listening to this, start now if you haven't started.
Yeah, 100%. Just, and that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
We're coaches. That's what we're here to help. And again, we probably get it, and you probably get it a lot, where people go, "Oh, I've seen all your clients. They're far too advanced. So like, I can't do what you do." And so that's why we coach. Like we will help you whether you're looking to push that top 1%, or if you're literally just getting involved in fitness now. Like that's the difference between a fitness instructor or someone who knows how to.
It's almost like a life coach as well, aren't we?
Yeah, or an athlete that's become a coach who just goes, "Oh, I know how to train hard." No, actually, we can coach you through how to.
Well, the famous
fitness.
quote I like to say is like, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy quote. It's true. It's like, okay, I don't need to stop comparing yourself to myself and yourself. You might not get to our level.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But you are going to get to a better level than you are now.
Yeah.
And that's to do incredible amounts to your confidence, your overall health, your physique, everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start small, set little goals, build it up. And then all of a sudden, 12 months later, you've completely transformed.
Yeah. For sure.
And you have to invest. You have to invest. I'm not saying you have to invest in ours, but invest in a gym program, invest in a gym.
And
invest
there's so
in
many out there.
Yeah.
You can go on Google and type in 7-day split, like training split, and get like.
Get something very basic.
I used to do it when I was a kid. I used to go on bodybuilding.com and find us like.
Yeah.
I don't know, Simeon Panda's 7 days. Like,
Of course.
Do this for 2 weeks. I look like him. But that got me into that. That got me wanting to learn more. I go, "Oh, this isn't working. Why is it not working? Oh, it's not. Maybe it's not tailored for me. Maybe it's not something." And you just have to get started. You just have to put yourself in that position where you can learn, take it in, soak it up, and it's not about becoming the best or the most elite athlete or who. Like again, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna have to run a 100 mile." Like. It's not about that. You don't even have to go and run your first marathon. Like, just move. Just get your body moving and establish what that brings you.
I would say about 90% of my clientele know exactly what they need to do with their physical health and their nutrition, but what they lack is accountability. And that's where I step in as an online coach. I give you your tailored program, your meal plan, and I give you that guidance and support throughout the whole journey to make sure that you get the results that you want and you progress to a stronger, healthier, resilient individual. So if you want to step things up and really improve the way you feel, the way you look, then my online coaching is for you. So if you want to receive 25% off my online coaching, simply click the link in the description of this podcast, complete the inquiry form and type transformation to make sure that you receive your 25% discount. I'll be in touch. We'll have a video call so I can understand a little bit more about yourself. I'll explain how my online coaching works and then we'll get to work and we'll get it done. Life is too short not to feel at your very best. Even my headspace, like I remember doing my first marathon, London Marathon years ago, and I said, I had pressure to do a really good time, just simply because I was in the industry. I was quite well known, following was strong. I thought, God, there's a lot of pressure for me to do really well.
Yeah.
I'm now doing the Paris Marathon, and I'm going to train hard for it. I'm going to prepare myself properly. But am I bothered about getting 3 hours? No. If I do 3 hours 20, happy days. Do you know what I mean? Happy days. And you shouldn't have that pressure on you. Of course, you need to set yourself a goal. Of course, I want to try and train for 3 hours and I want to put that work in. But if I get 3 hours 20, I'll be buzzing.
Yeah, yeah. It's, and it's almost come to it now, isn't it? Like, especially for myself, I look at stuff now and I'm like, don't find it impressive anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing's impressive anymore. It's almost like you got to break a world record for something to be like. Yeah. Like again, back before, it's like David Goggins does something. You're like, this is a one of a kind. Like no one else is doing this. Now no one hears of David Goggins.
Yeah, where's David?
everybody's doing it now.
Yeah,
like,
that's so true.
everybody's waking up and doing these challenges. And
Well, Ross Edgy was another one doing
I
some
mean,
crazy.
he's still unmatched.
Yeah, he's
Like,
still
that
unmatched.
guy
He's
is
doing
an
crazy shit.
absolute
But
freak.
I think Ross Edgy was he's inspired so many people to do these crazy challenges.
Yeah,
And do you know what? I think it's helped a lot of people. A lot of people probably in our industry are struggling.
yeah,
And they've had to do these crazy challenges to be seen and to be heard, and it's probably helped their businesses for sure.
and great. Like, if that's what it is. But
Yeah.
there's a level of, like, you have to have that substance to you, and,
Yeah.
and you've got to have past that and have these challenges. Like, I done it in lockdown. I went and I was bored in lockdown. I'd never really run more than 5K and wanted to challenge myself, and done a big running challenge in 2020, and documented probably about 5% of it. Like, I was doing it for myself, and like, it's almost like now, like you said, people, it's all for endorsement. That people aren't just doing the stuff because they want to now. It's like they're doing it, but like, how many brands can I get with me to work? Like, or this or that, and it's like.
But I think it's quite a trend at the minute. I think people will see through it.
Yeah,
I think if you just true to what you do,
absolutely.
longevity.
And again, I also think it's great. I think anything that encourages movement, fitness, pushing yourself, especially that mental side of it as well, and putting yourself through a bit of a tough time, I think it's brilliant. But like, that's not the be all and end all.
No,
of fitness.
of course.
Like, that wasn't around 10 years ago.
No, yeah.
So like, it's not that it's only just started. Like, I think there's a lot more to it, and it's just sort of filtering that out, especially in our industry now, is because every man and his dog is working in fitness or
which is great. I think it's great. I think social media has been brilliant for that. So many more PTs now getting qualified, which obviously is tough because obviously it's going to be a saturated market for how many online coaches there are. So my best advice for those is get yourself a mentorship. Yeah. Learn the trade, because it's hard to become an online coach.
Absolutely.
Being an online coach, of course, like, you might have a strong following or Instagram, or like yourself had a good community, so it's easy to bring those clients on. If you don't have that, you got to start getting yourself an Instagram. You start maybe have to do paid ads. Yeah. And then once you have those clients on the phone, you got to be able to sell to these clients. Yeah. Okay. And then you got to retain these clients. There's so much to it.
And that was my biggest learning curve. Was I was great in person. Okay. That's where I built that. I was on the gym floor and I was talking to everybody. Like, and I wasn't approaching people when they didn't want to be. I just enjoyed that buzz of being around people, pushing them, getting involved with the workouts with them sometimes, and that's what that built. It was like again, you've been in it, fitness communities, and it becomes infectious. And that's where I like I said, earned my stripes. Essentially, was I learnt the pain points of each and every client. What different things work with different clients. Everything that you need to learn as a coach. Built that by being the face of it, and then luckily carried that through. Now, if I'd gone into lockdown or into lockdown without that client base, I doubt I probably would have come out, because I didn't know the first thing about marketing, running ads, sales calls. I had no idea. Luckily, I had something that was carrying me through, and that was my content. That was my marketing, was these people that are still training with me, and this and that, and word of mouth, and people sharing it. And I really had to knuckle down, and I guess it's the same as people that struggle with getting into fitness. That was me getting into the business side of what this was. I was oh, it's not as easy as just someone coming and going, I want to sign up, bang. Yeah. So much more to it, and then retaining them and everything. Yeah, so of course. It's, I think once you've nailed that and especially found your niche, I think that's the biggest part and biggest bit of advice I can give to anyone. Be original, be yourself, find your niche. What do people want to come to you for? Like, and that's, once you've got that, it's not hard. You don't have to change anything ever, because people are still coming to you. There's so many high rocks coaches now, so many CrossFit coaches, so many running coaches. Like, why are they going to come to me? And that's where I'm now pushing through, and that's sort of like just really dialing in on my niche and what people want to come to me for. Yeah, 100%.
Funny, like my niche has ended up being middle-aged women, which is great, which is brilliant. I think it was my clientele before lockdown. I was training a lot of celebrities in that age bracket. Yeah. So I managed to build a big following and a very trusting following. Yeah. And I've just maintained that, and I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. And of course, I've got a lot of youngsters, lads our age, also on my coaching. Yeah, yeah. But 70% of my clientele is women from the age of like 40 plus, which is great. I absolutely love it as well.
Yeah. The best thing about, and I've coached women, is they just listen. Yeah, blokes are a nightmare. You teach them 5% of what
Yeah.
they need to know. They're like, yeah, got it. No, I know everything.
Yeah.
They'll get a transformation. I've done all of this work.
Yeah.
Every single woman I've ever coached, they can't thank me enough. And and I want to say to them, like, you've done the work. I've helped you.
Yeah.
And blokes tend to be the opposite. It's like they get a little bit of a head start, and they're like, yeah, I've done this. And
Yeah.
So that retention rate I've always found much easier with women.
Yeah.
Because they, one, love the accountability,
Mm-hmm.
but two, just want to constantly
And they want to learn as well.
learn.
And I think that, there's a lot of lack of education when it comes to nutrition as well. So once they start learning, these are the type of foods you need to be consuming. I find with women, they're far too deficient in protein.
Yeah.
And also if protein is seen as, it's just for muscles. No, it's more than that.
Yeah.
And once they start learning and enjoying all these, having the right amount of calories, and they see the energy levels, especially if they're going perimenopausal or menopausal, they're like, wow, I feel alive. And it's just so small little things that need to change.
Yeah, it's a big sort of eye opener for them, for sure.
Which is great. And coming on to mental health, how have you dealt with your mental health since? And how do you deal with your mental health? Because obviously, are there times where you're quite exhausted, you're quite low, or?
Yeah, so mental health's a really weird one for me. I think it's hard for me to kind of go into it too much because, again, it's a very, very sensitive subject for a lot of people, and I'm a big advocate for...
And especially men, right?
Yeah, especially men. And I'm a big advocate for protecting your mental health and doing the things that you need to do to do that. Now, the way I've always viewed mental health is like anything. Like, it's not about like saying, "Oh, I've got mental." Like, you can strengthen it the same way you can strengthen your physical health, whatever. Like, you can strengthen it, and by doing certain things, like during lockdown, I thought it was going to be a real rough ride. Actually, I loved lockdown. I was like, it gave me that glimpse of what freedom, almost having some freedom was. So I was like, I'm going to do stuff here now whilst I can that's quite shit and I don't want to do. Things like everyone's doing now, but like cold showers, going on like early morning walks, whatever it was, just building that little bit of resilience so that when stuff comes along in life, things are a little bit tough, you've got that base level of how do I deal with something that I don't like to deal with. And that's just kind of always been my way. Like I'm very, very, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm a very, very logical thinker and deal with emotions with logic as opposed to dealing with emotions with emotions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, stuff happens. Life, like these,
that's just life.
Life events.
You are going to be hit with all sorts.
And it's just about how you deal with it, how you come out of it. And granted, I've probably dealt with things wrong sometimes, and there might be times where I probably should have gone. I needed to speak to someone about that rather than push it down, and whatever that is. But I think as a whole, my mental health is pretty good. I think there's, again, I think this comes from head trauma. There's things that I come across daily that are caused by that, like previous trauma that maybe don't affect my mental health, but affects my more like mental well-being. I get a lot of like sometimes a lot of brain fog.
So it's almost like your brain health rather than your mental health.
Exactly that, which is a completely different topic. Like that's a lot more chemical based than it is to like circumstance and stuff like that. So things like intrusive thoughts, a lot of that. But again, I deal with them very logically. Like I went through a stage in lockdown. It's probably quite morbid, but like every time I crossed a bridge, running a bridge, like I had this really, really overwhelming intrusive thought to just get up and jump.
Wow.
Like it was like intense to the point where I was like, I can't run over bridges. I was like, I can't. And then I realized that's like an avoidance thing. So I was like, now I'm going to find any bridge I can and just keep running over it. Just keep running over bridges until I realized that actually it's just like a voice in my head. And once you drown that out and once you beat that inner voice and something as silly as that, and well, say not as silly as that, but like that's when I realized actually if you don't look after your mental health and you get them days where you actually are quite down, you've suppressed too much or whatever, and I'm like, I could be on that bridge and make the wrong choice. So actually the day-to-day things that I was doing, I think were taking me away from that.
Yeah, of course.
And I wouldn't say I was ever suicidal or down or anything like that. Like absolutely not. But like those thoughts, those intrusive thoughts that come through.
I'm sure a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah, and I've had people talk and say like, for instance, on the tube, they'll be like stood by a tube and they get this intrusive thought to step out in front of a tube, or driving on the motorway and you want to like open your car door and stuff like that. The amount of people that I've spoken to, and since speaking to, I've been like, oh, okay, sweet.
It's not just
okay,
you.
it's not just me. And people go, oh yeah, get that all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm never going to do it.
No, of course.
But like, you get that like thought in your head, and I think it needs to be a lot more education on what mental health, mental well-being, mental illness, and what differentiates all of those.
Yeah.
Because some things need to be helped.
Because a lot of people, like back in the day, like people just said it was stress, but now it's classed as mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
Anxiety. It's like, no, it's just circumstances that are testing your mindset.
Yeah, and we are in a. I think it's great to push this whole ethos of movement is medicine, making yourself feel good, like being good to yourself, being kind to yourself, be nice. I'm all for that, but like we've also got to do the hard stuff.
Build resilience.
Have to build
100%.
that. There's so much more going on in this world than any of us probably listening to this podcast could ever imagine. And I've always had this mindset of like, if there's 100 people out there that are worse off than me, I've got nothing to worry about.
Of course.
So I can guarantee I'm never going to be in a position where I'm in that top 100. So I've always got
100%. And I think back to situations where I would say my mental health was tested the most. Those situations have turned me into the character I am now.
Yeah.
So I look back and go, do you know what? I'm thankful for that experience.
Yeah.
So if anything hits me now, I'm like, whoa, relax. You're being tested again.
Yeah.
And this will be a test that you'll be thankful for. So just relax.
Absolutely.
Find a solution rather than moan about it, cry about it.
Yeah.
Find a solution and how to deal with it. Cool. Go for a run. Swell it out.
Yeah.
And then stay calm.
Yeah.
Because if you panic, you're going to make the situation worse.
For sure.
Come up with a solution.
It's actually quite recently, I reckon maybe about 6 months ago, started writing stuff down. Whenever I had these like bits where I was like, maybe head was wandering, thoughts were wandering, and it can get into those quite like worrying places, or like what you would presume are worrying, just writing it down and then trying to make sense of it on paper.
Yeah.
So like it's literally take it here, put it there, and it made it so much easier.
Yeah.
Like that was my version of like talking to someone.
From a male's perspective, it's like, what's the things that's going to cause us stress? It's mainly probably relationships and it's finance. Yeah. It's they're the two, innit?
Probably two of the only things that have ever caused.
And then two things that men don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you've got that pride of.
I remember when I was breaking up with my girlfriend, I sat with all the boys and I'm struggling. The boys, they're like, why are you struggling? You're single now. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy yourself. I'm like, no, they don't understand.
No, exactly.
And then when it comes to finances thing, it's an ego thing. It's like, I don't want them to know that I may be struggling this month.
Yeah. Exactly, and
do you know what I mean?
They're the two biggest.
Because you come to London, obviously going from Kent to London, obviously that's your expenses go up big time, right?
Probably tripled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rent. So where you living in London?
I'm in Fulham.
Yeah, so you live close to me, and Fulham is expensive, right?
Yeah.
And it's only going to get more expensive as
It's
well.
not.
So you're constantly thinking, well, okay, I have to work this amount of hours, or I have to have these amount of clients just to cover my rent before any profits.
Exactly that.
And then you look at VAT and tax.
Yeah.
And you go, fucking, I got that as well.
Yeah.
So it's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And you don't want to be that mate in the gym or whatever. It's like, I can't come out or doing this. So you always try and I don't know if it's a good mentality to have or toxic. Like I'm not driven by like monetary things. I'm not driven my goal in life isn't to be driving a Ferrari. Don't get me wrong. If I get there,
if you can afford one, you'll get
cash,
one.
Yeah, I'm getting one. Best believe I'm getting one.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I just want to have this financial freedom where I can train like I wanted to when I was a professional athlete. I can help other people. I can go on holidays. I can see family.
Yeah.
I
support future family.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. I grew up with my parents, like I said, very working class. I was a middle child. I had an older sister, younger brother, all within 3 years of each other. And they worked 40 to 50 hours a week. And every weekend, one of my parents would take me to rugby or ice hockey. My other would take my brother. My sister would have to come watch. And as soon as that weekend finished, straight back to work, straight back to school. Yeah. And as much as I love them for doing that, I don't want to be doing that.
No.
If I have kids and they want to do sports, I want to be in a position where it's not taken out of my time. My parents, for the whole time we were kids, must have had zero free time for themselves.
My mum and dad are saying.
So they've given the ultimate sacrifice so that we can do that. So I want to be in a position when I get to potentially be a parent where I go, I've got all the time for you to still be able to live my life, because I'm quite selfish with my time. So I want to get to a position where I don't have to be selfish. And right now, like I'm not in a position. If I was to say have a kid in the next 3 years, my whole life would change, and I don't want that. I want to be in a position where I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to be away all weekend with sports or whatever. Doesn't eat into the week. Like everything's.
Yeah, I think
that's my goal. Like,
yeah, of course. And I think that's why so many men probably aren't in relationships until they get to about 35.
Yeah.
Because they want to be in a financially secure position.
Yeah. And like I look at it now and I'm like, again, you sort of look where we live and what how your lifestyle is, and then you book a holiday and you go, imagine now I'm like adding 2 kids onto that holiday.
Yeah.
I just don't see it as like anything sustainable. So and I wanted to be a young dad. Like when I was playing rugby, like I was ready to be a dad at like 18.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I
think that's the important thing, because a lot of my mates who are professional footballers have got 2-3 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm there going, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then as soon as I left, that
it changes.
instantly stopped. And I was like, yeah, no way.
So I think because time goes so fast as well. I'm ready to be a dad. Of course, I have to be the right person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a baby with anyone. They've got to be the right person.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's around the corner. But it's true. Life goes so quick. You go, fuck, I'm 30 now. I'm like, where's that gone?
Yeah,
and I'll be 31 in a few months. So it is
like,
scary, isn't it?
I'm lucky in the sense that like my sister's got a little boy. You've got a 5-year-old, and I love being an uncle. Like I think actually I think uncles being even better. Like you kind of just be the fun one.
An hour, 2 hours.
That's it. As soon as they start playing up, like give them back. And like I love that, and I love that interaction. But right now, like I'm very much focused on like I want to build that financial freedom in terms of if my mates say to me, "Do you want to go? Like we're going away next month. Like you coming with? I can do that. And this and that. All, my bills are all paid for. Like everything. And by doing what I love to do, so that everyone gets the best version of me, as opposed to me like working my nuts off just to be able to have these things. And we live in a day and age where we can do this. Like we have the internet now, and I've said to so many people, if you're not monetizing the internet, like why?
No, you have to.
Why? There's in any aspect of what you're doing, use the internet, make some money. Like there's so many avenues to go.
You can have like, is it TikTok shop? You can have all sorts.
And you see there's some of the people that are making like good
silly
coin.
Yeah. And last resort going OnlyFans if you.
Worst case,
Worst case.
That's it. I mean, just put a subscription on some of it. And
well, this is the thing. I have a subscription model with Get It Done, and it does very well. And obviously, I'm online coaching, so I've got low ticket, high ticket, and that's definitely given me the financial freedom. And now I'm actually thinking about moving to Dubai, simply to have even more financial freedom. And far more opportunity, and it's easy to create content, etc. Accountability is most people's downfall when it comes to reaching health and fitness goals. You've got the gym membership, you've got the best intentions, you know what you want to achieve, but you just can't seem to stay consistent, so you give up or settle for little or no results. My one-to-one coaching is designed to create a specific plan for you to follow with your goals in mind. But with the added bonus of regular check-ins and communication, you will have the accountability you're missing, and therefore no choice but to level up and get it done. So if you're listening to this episode and it's time to level up, hold yourself accountable and get the results you want, I'll give you 20% off my one-to-one coaching. All you have to do is include the word transform in your inquiry form, link in the episode description. Obviously, you moved to Kent to London, which is a big move. Could you ever see yourself going abroad, or are you happy with that?
So London's not a long-term thing. It was just to throw myself into the mix and be in the fitness scene, in the London fitness scene, because as you know, you're so well connected to anyone.
No, London's good. You network with so many good people. There's so many events going on, like the turf games, etc.
Exactly,
and you just collaborate.
Exactly that. And working with brands that you would never have thought of working with. And so it's a very much short-term thing for me, London. Me and my girlfriend at the minute love the thought of Australia.
Yeah, nice.
I just want to be in the sun.
I think being in the sun is, especially because we got that freedom, right? We're online coaches. As long as we've got Wi-Fi, we can work anywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the time zones can be slightly difficult, but that's something that we deal with.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be the best coach when I'm happy, when I'm in an environment where I'm thriving.
For sure.
There's times in London when I'm telling my clients, you need to be doing this, you need to be more consistent. I'm like, I'm not even fucking doing it.
Exactly.
Because I'm struggling with motivation right now. Yeah. That's coming from me.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got the discipline, so I forced myself. But when I'm in a Bali or Dubai or in Australia, mate, it's so easy to get up. It's so easy to do.
People are inspired by that. People want to be involved, and people want to be nurtured by that and that person that's in that environment. So yeah, I think that's where I see see myself or us in the next sort of 18 months
Nice.
to 2 years.
And is your missus in sport as well?
Yeah, she works in fitness as well.
Oh, perfect.
So we
Makes
both
sense.
work the same thing, and like she's currently creating her own brand at the minute.
Good.
So it just make like, and like again, I don't see in X amount of years us wanting to have kids or having kids. So it's like now's the time. Like go and do.
So the
that.
next 3, 4, 5 years,
Yeah,
head down,
yeah.
focus on
and
building the business.
yeah, building business, enjoying life, like
Yeah.
enjoying being selfish.
Yeah.
Like that's a big piece of advice I give to people. It's like don't be scared to be selfish.
Well, like I'm sure you've got many mates similar to me who live in that rat race, right?
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and it's
9 to 5, not enjoying what they're doing. Comes to the weekend, spend a lot of their money on booze, alcohol, you name it. And it's
then
that
they're
vicious
depressed
cycle.
all week
Depressed.
and wondering why,
Yeah.
and putting it all back
Yeah.
in their systems,
Yeah.
however they want to ingest it, and like
Yeah.
going around in that violent circle. And it's like sometimes just take a step back, realize where it is you want to be. And I love the rat races sometimes. I love being like, sometimes I go on holiday.
Yeah.
Get to like the 10th day.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
get
I still
back
have to
London.
hustle, mate. When I'm on holiday, I'm still working.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still working. That's because I enjoy what we do, right?
Exactly.
It's very easy to. But look, I've got loads of clients who are in the rat race or in the hustle, and they've improved their lifestyle. They're making sure the non-negotiable is going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. It is meal prepping. It is reducing the alcohol intake. It is maybe looking at their social life and go, okay, I'm going to change that and do that instead. Instead of a lad's holiday, maybe we'll go to the Lake District and do hiking instead.
Yeah.
Or we go to Switzerland. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got loads of clients who have actually changed their lifestyle in that way, which is massively important. Because I think as you do approach 28, 30 like you and me, the odd festival's good fun. But you don't see me nightclubbing anymore. No chance. It's completely changed.
It's
Me and my mates were in the Cotswolds, right? Having a few glasses of Guinness. We're playing Jenga. It's like, fucking hell, boys. This is very different to 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's happened? But I think it's just a maturity thing, and
Absolutely.
you want different things in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once you find your circle, it's so easy. Then.
Yeah.
Like you put yourself in that environment where people just push you to be better. They just encourage you to make better choices. I'm still, and again, I show it. I'm still, I think boys, especially, like essentially we're just still boys.
Yeah, I think
just
we'll
with
always
bigger
have it
toys.
nice. Yeah.
And we just still chase that, like being around mates and having fun and like living.
Well, there's a study, isn't it? For men to be extremely healthy and happy, they need to be with their mates at least twice a week.
I shared this on my story. The other week. Actually,
it does make sense though.
Actually, after like a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Ended up out on Tuesday night, and it was 2 nights a week or like twice.
To show your missus, babe, like, this is a study. You've got to do it.
As I said, health is wealth. You cannot argue with it.
I think it's the same for girls though. They need to be around their girls. It's
because
100%.
the conversations I would have with my mates, as opposed to having a partner, and I've got female friends who I've gone to for advice on certain subjects. I wouldn't speak to my male mates.
I think that's key,
because having those different groups and having those different people to speak to, it just gives you that sort of comfortability of, okay, and it's not about unloading your problems onto them, but it's just getting different perspectives. And I don't laugh with anyone like I laugh with the lads.
Of course.
The same way, like, I don't feel as comfortable or as peaceful as I do
with your
family and my missus.
100%.
And then getting that perspective from like female friends on like, this has happened or this.
You can be a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think that's super, super important.
Yeah.
And people need to.
I think that's emotional intelligence, though. That's obviously as you mature, your emotional intelligence improves. So you realize who do you go for different things.
Yeah, like exactly that. And once you find that circle and once you find that group, and those people that are, and it's that saying, isn't it? Like if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you'll become the 6th millionaire. Like, and whether that's your goal or your goal is to be fitter or be healthier, if you surround yourself with a group of people that are also doing that, naturally you're just.
Well, if you want to be successful in life, your environment is key. That's a key.
100%.
That is so key for success. Your environment is key.
Yeah, just being around those people.
I think we're very fortunate because we come from a sporting background.
Yeah, we that team effort, and again learning like the repercussions. Like if you do something wrong, it's going to affect a team, and I think that's learning those things from an early age.
And people listening saying, "Well, I can't relate to that." Well, if you do have kids or you have little siblings, advise them to get into sports straight away.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's end, mate, because we could be talking all day. We're very similar. We've got so much to talk about. To end the conversation, mate, what is your key to success?
My key to success, originality. Just be yourself. and you will naturally navigate yourself towards which environment you need to be in. So just be yourself. Once you've got that, own it, be authentic, and just
enjoy the journey. Just
work hard. Yeah,
mate, it's so simple. It's hard work. Yeah,
forget the destination.
I always say visualize where you want to be.
Yeah,
make a plan and take action.
Yeah,
and surround yourself with the right people to help you on that path, on that journey. And like you said, be authentic, because as soon as you start not being authentic, people are going to read straight through
exactly. In work, life, whatever it is, like enjoy the destination. Like no one's promising tomorrow. Like I knew that when my career ended quite quick. Like no one's promising us tomorrow. So like we're here now. Do what you can as well as you can with as much enjoyment as you can right now. And
life goes quick.
I think everything will work out.
And life goes quick. So try and find that balance between hard work and obviously taking time to just be present. Yeah. Something that I've learned recently that I have to do.
Yeah.
And it's tough, mate, because I can't switch off. I cannot switch off. Yeah. But I'm learning now that it's so important for me to switch off, because when I do switch off, my best ideas come.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you're 100 miles an hour and always, I think you have to be when you're younger. I look back when I was training 10 to 12 people a day, and I was absolutely exhausted, but I was cashing in the money, which allowed me to invest in other things.
Yeah.
But now if I continue to do that now, there's no growth.
No.
So I have to think smarter now. So sometimes having that switch off, for me, is going away to the Cotswolds. I'm very fortunate. I got a cottage there. I just switch off there. I come back with new energy, new ideas, and I go with it. So
refreshed.
Sometimes it's important to have the right environment, but also sometimes spend time by yourself and just really remember, what do I want to achieve in this situation?
Absolutely. And I think that, again, that goes back to being original. If you're putting on a facade, putting on a fake, when you are on your own, you've got to deal with that. Whereas if you're we get back to yourself and you go, actually, now I can just you carry on exactly how you were, but you get that time alone to think, this is where I want to go next. And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the moment, but work for it.
Work hard, mate. Work hard. And a lot of people in today's world don't want to work hard. It's crazy. I find it so frustrating.
Yeah.
And when people say you're lucky, it's like, no. Luck comes when you work hard.
Yeah, you create your own luck.
100%.
Create your own luck.
Well, mate, class having you on board. We'll definitely need to train. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, we need to.
Perfect.
That'll be exciting. All right, mate.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thank you so much.